This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Sam Jones here in Manchester. Sam, firstly, how's life treating you?
All good, mate. New baby girl arrived on Monday, so yeah, mate, life's very good, mate.
Congratulations on the new baby. How is that treating you so far?
It's hard, mate, but it's hard. But listen, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
I can imagine it is, and obviously you've got Catterall returning to the ring on Saturday night. Daragh Foley certainly built this fight up a little bit of needle between the pair of them in their face-off. What are you hoping that brings out of Jack?
I don't think there's any real needle there. I think Daragh's come over. He's very good value. I like him, to be honest with you. I think he's very funny, but like what I just said there, it's going to be very different. Like, oh, he's lasted in the ice bath longer than Jack, but the reality is he's going to get his head punched in on Saturday, and that's the bottom line. There's levels in this game, and Jack's a good few levels above Daragh Foley, and I genuinely believe he'll show that on Saturday.
People keep mentioning that word levels with Jack Catterall. We know what he's done previously, how unfortunate many people felt he was when he fought Josh Taylor. With that in mind, he's not being active. Will that play a part on Saturday night?
No, I don't think so, because Jack's a proper professional. He lives in the gym. He's a gym rat. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear you talk, Sam.
Okay, no. Am I that boring? No, it's. I don't think it is going to play. In fact, I know it's not going to play a part because he's in there. He's sparring regularly, and he loves being in the gym. It's not ideal being out the ring for that long. And now, listen, we've got a good plan with Eddie and Frank Smith and with Matchroom and Jack's. Listen, like what I said, I've been in boxing too long to kind of overlook of what's happening. But Jack's got a job to do on Saturday, and then we've got big fights on the horizon, mate.
Sam, I know earlier in the year there was talks between Jack and Regis Prograis to try and make that fight. Obviously, it fell through for whatever reason. With that in mind, I asked Frank this, but I can ask you now, as Jack's manager, was there any potential opportunities to try and explore that fight before Regis found a new opponent and maybe not having this Daragh Foley fight?
No, not really, mate, because Regis was set in having his homecoming in New Orleans. I think that was part of the deal. Listen, you'll have to ask him over there, like whether that was it, but I believe that was part of the deal, that he has a homecoming there, and I don't know how that fight's selling. But all I know is Jack against Regis Prograis is a fantastic fight. It's a superb fight. I've got a lot of time for Regis. He's a proper fighting guy. He'll fight anybody, similar to Jack. So I've got no doubts in my mind Regis will take the fight with Jack. Listen, I don't want to, you're tripping me up my words, but like, listen, Jack comes through, looks good against Foley on Saturday, get the win. And look, yeah, that's the fight that would love to make.
Would that be even rather the most obvious fight to make with both being under Matchroom banner?
Listen, there's a few fights. Like, listen, there's always the Josh Taylor rematch there. There's a winner against Lopez. Because I mean, listen, it's Josh Taylor gets stopped probably more than Jack, or told like on the social media. Like even now, like he's fighting a great fight against Lopez, and you'll see people comment under there, yeah, you're ducking Jack, and like I don't think Josh Taylor ducks anyone, to be perfectly honest. I've got a lot of respect for Josh. I just think Jack beat him well in that fight, and that fight will always be there, and it's a fight that everybody wants to see.
What do you think of Taylor-Lopez?
Great fight. I think it's an absolutely great fight. I think Josh didn't look very good on his last time out, and Teofimo's not looked good in his last two fights. So I think it's Teofimo's obviously the youngest, but I don't know. I don't know where Teofimo is, how he's doing up here, because he's not looked great. It's a hard one to call, Andy. It's a hard one to call, but like I think if Josh Taylor's firing on all cylinders, maybe I'd give Josh the edge. But my mind changes all the time on the fight, if I'm perfectly honest. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Lopez knocked Josh out. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh knocked him out. I genuinely, you know I am. I'll tell you, I don't really like sitting on the fence, but in this one I am, because I don't really know who's going to win.
Just swinging back to Saturday night, that main event, we just saw Mauricio Lara coming at 129.8. Now, the board put a restriction in holding on place on him that he couldn't weigh less than 128.5. Obviously, Leigh Wood made weight titles on the line for him, not for Mauricio, but what have you made of what we've seen on the scales there?
Like what I just said there, it is very hard for a porky fella to say that, I'm not that porky anymore, but like usually a porky fella will say, a part-time porker. It's hard for me to say, he's unprofessional, but I just think it is. I think it's very unprofessional. He's worked his whole life, as he said, to win a world title against Leigh Wood last time, and he's come here not really try to. It doesn't even look like he's tried to make weight there. So I hope Leigh Wood smashes him to bits.
Zhang-Joyce, somebody you have a very close relationship with, even though you don't work with him anymore, he's invoked that rematch clause with Zhang-Joyce. Just your thoughts, the right move to go immediately in for that?
Listen, like what I said to Joe, I told Joe personally, you are one big mad bastard if you don't take that rematch, because we spoke about working our whole life. You've worked so hard. We worked when I was in S-Chan, we worked so hard to get you into that position that you are now. And you're going to don't even consider letting someone. And to be fair, it was not in Joe's makeup. Joe would have had a couple of days to think about it, and he'd have been like, no, let's go and get my belt back. And listen, if Joe prepares 100% correctly, goes in there with his proper weight, he'll go in there and win. I know people laughed and listen, you get it wrong. You get predictions right, you get predictions wrong. I got it very wrong against Zhang, and the better man won on the night. But a Zhang-Joyce, fully prepared, elite level sparring, Joe beat Zhang.
People were surprised by kind of how Joe had struggled with Zhang's southpaw stance.
He just got hit with 100 backhands, constantly, over and over again. There was no real game plan. It was piss poor, to be honest with you. It was really, really bad. And I just think Joe's one of his, believe it or not, he's a perfectionist, and that would have hurt him bad, that result, Andy. So he would have gone there, he would be evaluated with his coach, his management team, who have been around him forever, like Adam, as you know, and it would have hurt everybody. It hurt me, it hurt everybody, it would hurt everybody. So they would have sat down, evaluated it. Joe beat Zhang in the rematch, Andy. I'm 100% confident of it.
Just want to get your thoughts on the Usyk-Dubois purse bids yesterday. We saw K2 Promotions pick them up. I think it was about $2.5 million more than Queensborough bid.
Winning the lottery again, Andy. He doesn't really deserve that fight, let's be perfectly honest. He beat the worst fighter I've ever seen in that fat fella from Don King. I don't know what his name was, Trevor Bryan. Horrific champion. He's got that belt there. Listen, as I say, I said on my last interview there, I think there's a podcast channel, I forget their names, but they said, he should leave Queensbury. Why? He should be plunging Frank's toilet because of he's made him a multi-millionaire, and he's beaten Nathan Gorman and Kevin Lorena. Unbelievably guided fighter, Daniel Dubois. Doesn't need to work ever again. He can lose against Usyk, and I'm sure, listen, Don Charles is a proud man, and Daniel Dubois, listen, he's a fighter, so he'll go there trying to win, but I just think Usyk will punch his nut in, to be honest, Andy.
That's fair enough, Sam. We'll leave that, okay, yeah.
That's just how I think it will go. I think he's got less of a chance of winning, even if listen, I thought he had next to no chance of winning anyway, but I think leaving Shane McGuigan's probably going to make it even harder a task.
Right, Sam, we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to try and catch up with your team. I'm sure they've all just left you here, so thank you.
Thank you very much, mate.